Welcome to the Breakfast Show on Faith FM with Skafy and Lindsay. This is the best place to start your day with positive and uplifting thoughts.
You're listening on 87.6, 87.8 or 88, depending on where you are, or you can listen to us through our Faith FM app wherever you are in the world.
And today is Wednesday, the 28th of January, 2026, if you're listening live. And with me and Lindsay, we also have Producer Shell here in the studio. Good morning to you as well, Producer Shell.
Good morning.
And I'm actually going to share with you a proverb today. Okay. My proverb of the day is Proverb chapter 18 and verse 19. An offended brother is more unyielding than a fortified city, and disputes are like the barred gates of a citadel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Look, this is a very interesting proverb. It is in a very specific portion of the book of Proverbs that is giving wisdom for leaders and rulers and saying here, hey, if someone under your leadership, and it could be in your family, it could be, because you can be a leader in your group of friends, but if someone is offended, like someone has a dispute with someone else, and that dispute gets unresolved, they can shut themselves up.
Yeah.
And be very hard to win back. You're basically losing a friend. So the Bible counsel is, okay, resolve disputes. Don't ignore them. Don't bury your head in the sand.
Yep.
Do something about them as quickly as possible. Give some resolution. Don't avoid a conflict. Because a lot of times what we want to do is just like, I want to avoid this conflict. Let's time sort these things out. Guess what? Time normally won't sort these things out, but because when two people are having a dispute, it's very unlikely that they are going to be, particularly if they are not spiritually mature enough, that they're going to solve it by themselves.
I found that time just tends to be an opportunity for people to fester and keep ruminating and thinking about how bad that person is. Eventually, years later, like you forget what you're fighting about. You just had a feeling of offense.
Yes. And speaking of which, there is a dispute among some of my friends, and I realized, I think this is, you're talking to me. I need to get in and try to do something to help to resolve that dispute.
That's really good. I had a friend who was the mediator between me and another person one time, and I didn't ask for it. She just decided she was going to mediate, and it was actually a really good thing. So good on you for being that mediator between friends.
That's right. So that's my proverb for today. What about you? What do you like to share? You have a gratitude?
Yeah. I was just thinking this morning, I'm so grateful for technology, believe it or not. So like 15 years ago, I was a teenager living on a remote island in the middle of the Pacific, and it would take forever to try to use a landline to call my nana. And like you'd have to wait for like 5 seconds for the sound to go through and like try not to talk over top of each other. And it was very clunky. But these days we don't know how good we have it, honestly.
You're going to have internet. Satellite internet, and you can be anywhere in the middle of the ocean if you want. You can talk to your nana. You can FaceTime her now.
Yeah, without any clunky time, weird differences. But yeah, like we can video chat each other now, no problems.
That is really cool. I'm very grateful for that as well. And coming up in our show, I am going to explore with you, Lindsay, why you should not be friends with a guy named Hira.
Oh, okay.
We're also going to be looking at a company that is paying their employees to make friends outside of work, and a pastor in Mexico who was expelled from a village. And you're going to know why later today in the show. We're also going to have a testimony of my friend Hannah. She's a Christian from Japan, and she's going to be sharing a little bit of her spiritual walk.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
Now it's the time for a quiz question. Producer Shah will give us a quiz to play along. So, radio friend, please do join us with this quiz answer. If you do know the answer to that one, you can text us to 0491 064 669.
Who did Peter address his first letter to? Who did Peter address his first letter
Who
to?
did Peter address his first letter to?
Yes.
That's a good one.
That is our first question for the morning. A wake me up question by the looks of it. I'm liking the expressions I'm seeing on the faces here. Not correct answers coming through at the moment, but 0491064669 is our text line for you to text in what you think the answer is. Who did Peter address his first letter to?
Okay. I don't know.
I really don't know.
Yeah. Help us out, 0491064669. I'm curious to know this one now.
Yeah, he was writing to places like Galatia, Asia, and Cappadocia, if that helps.
Cappadocia?
Docia? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Is that the one?
No. How did he address all of those people that he was writing to?
How did he address them all?
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's
I'll
the
try
question.
this one.
Okay.
It's probably not
try
right.
this one.
Nope. Incorrect answer still.
Okay.
Sorry.
All righty.
Well, we'll find
Help
out
us out,
later.
listener, please.
We're guessing
Text
now.
Can
in.
someone please help us out here? We are a bit stuck here, Lindsay and I. And of course, you can read in your Bible, radio friend. Just Lindsay and I, we have a stricter set of rules for ourselves here, so we don't look it up.
That's what I've been told recently.
Yes, right. Yes, so we're not looking up at the studio, but you may, if you were not in the studio, you can look it up. The answer. Well done. Let's move on to our Bible study today. I'm so excited that we are studying the story of Judah and Tamar.
What a good story.
It is a very interesting story with so many lessons here for us.
Yeah.
But I want to talk to you about a friend of a friend here, particularly a man named Hira. Because when you look at chapter 38, we never talk about when we talk about the story of Judah and Tamar, we talk about Judah and Tamar.
Okay.
But we should actually be talking about the story of Hira.
The story of Hira.
Hira is, I believe, the main actor
The main
in
actor.
that story.
Hira the Adullamite.
Yes, let's get into Hira story, so you know
Okay.
what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about, I think.
Okay.
Shall I start from the beginning?
Yeah, so let's do from the beginning again, okay? And let's read verse 1.
Okay, so Genesis 38, verse 1. It came to pass at that time that Judah departed from his brothers and visited a certain Adullamite whose name was Hira. And Judah saw there a daughter of a certain Canaanite whose name was Shua, and he married her and went into her. So she conceived and bore a
Okay,
son.
let's just pause here, okay?
Okay.
So it came about that Judah departed from his brothers and visited a certain Adullamite whose name was Hira. So Hira is here, and he's going to show up again in that story.
Yep.
But the word here, visited, he has this friend called Hira. He was a Adullamite, and for those of you who do not know, Adullamite means he was a Canaanite.
Yep. So he was from...
So he left his brother, said, you know what, I'm going to spend time with my friend Hira.
Yep.
And the Bible here says that he visited this guy. Now, the word here for visited is it's not just to visit someone.
Is it like build a friendship with, or what is it?
It's neta. Neta means to lengthen, to stretch. So he says, he went for like an extended holiday.
Okay.
You know what? I'm going to just go and stay with my friend.
He's going to crash on his couch for a while.
Crash on his couch for a while.
Yeah.
This Canaanite guy. As a result of that, the first thing that he's doing, Hira was convinced him to marry Canaanite women
Yeah.
against the instruction
In the family.
of the family,
Yep.
and against the better judgment of his father. His children, because of that, grew up in a very wicked environment. As we can see, like the Lord has to strike two of them for being exceptionally wicked human beings. We're talking about here like terrorist grade.
Yep.
Okay. And then Hira was the one who's going to instigate Judah to commit an incest with Tamar.
That's true.
Well, we'll see if it's true or not, because we have to
Well,
read, okay?
I think it's
Don't believe everything that I say, Lindsay.
I don't believe it exactly. I think this is some
Let's
clickbaity
look into
kind
the
of.
Bible. Let's look into the Bible for that. So yesterday we were talking about how Tamar was being basically interpreted as being bad luck.
Yeah.
by Judah because, she married the first son died. Judah thought that there's nothing to do with his own wickedness. It was all the girl's fault. Then the second son died, and again, it was nothing to do in Judah's mind with his own wickedness and greed. It was all to do with Tamar. So Judah said, hey, you know what? Okay, I'm going to give you my third son, because that's kind of the custom. That's the right thing to do. So you go there and wait.
Yeah, he's a bit little right now. Just wait for him to grow up.
And he knew in his intention was like I'm never, this lady's never seeing any one of my children again.
Yeah.
She
can't take any more from me.
No, otherwise I will go without any heirs here. My lineage is going to... This is what he was thinking.
Yeah.
So he promised something, and he never accomplished that something. So let's look at verse 12 here, please.
Verse 12 says, Now in the process of time, the daughter of Shua, Judah's wife, died, and Judah was comforted, and went up to his sheep shearers at Timnah, he and his friend, Hira the Adullamite.
Okay. All right. Let's just pause here. And read verse 13 as well, because there's an important information here.
And it was told Tamar, saying, Look, your father-in-law is going up to Timnah to shear his sheep.
Yes. Now, sheep shearing time. This is not business as usual, Lindsay.
Oh, I know. This is party time.
Yes. This is party time. This is harvesting time, the time where you're shearing the sheep. So you go there, you're going to have cash on your hands.
A year's worth of income in a few weeks.
That's right. Exactly. And after his wife died, shortly after, who comes up again? Hira.
It's Hira. Good old Hira the Adullamite.
Hira, the guy that, basically separated Judah from his family and convinced him to live in Canaan.
Yep. Yeah, he's the one drawing Judah away.
And he says here, hey, your wife died. Oh, look, there's a party up there. You know what? I'm going to go with you and, we're going to celebrate it. Stop mourning. Time is over. What do you need? You just need some partying, my friend. That was Hira's influence on Judah.
Cheer you up.
Yeah.
With a good sheep shearing party.
And because Tamar knew when she heard... We're going to see the next verse that someone told, hey, by the way, your former father-in-law or your father-in-law is coming to town. Why would Tamar dress herself up and sit at the side of the road if she didn't know exactly what was the character of both Judah and in particular of Hira?
Well, I think there was also probably a bit of a reputation of Judah and his brothers by this point in the Canaanite region because, prior to this, there's been issues with the family. There's probably been the Dinah incident by this point with Judah's brothers going and slaughtering a whole town. They're not really, they don't have a great reputation for being actually godly people and having good morals and following through and doing what they're meant to do.
Yeah.
So she knows 100%, this guy is never going to call for me. Shelah is well and truly old enough to marry me now. I should be having babies by this point. My life is on hold, and it's going to stay on hold until something changes.
Yeah.
That's what she's thinking here.
Yeah, absolutely. And then let's look at verse 14. What happened?
Verse 14 says, So she took off her widow's garments, covered herself with a veil, and wrapped herself, and sat in an open place which was on the way to Timnah, for she saw that Shelah was grown, and she was not given to him
let's
as a
just
wife.
pause here. She removed her widow's garments. Only at that time. We're talking about years and years and years, maybe even decades, that she is just waiting, preserving herself. She didn't move on. She's waiting. Whereas we were going to see, this is very much contrasted with Judah, who after a month or so that his wife passed away, he was already,
ready to
move on to the next one.
Yeah. Yeah.
He had that snow morning, and there she was. Her life was absolutely stuck. And while she was wearing these widow's clothes, that meant that she was closed for business for anyone.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
So she sat down in her desperation, trying to figure out what to do, and she sat by the road. She had a plan.
Yeah. She also knew what was owed to her by this particular family. Of the laws of the land at the time, what she was about to do next was actually allowable.
Yeah. Let me just tell you this. There is nothing here indicating that she actually insinuated herself to be a harlot.
Okay.
She just covered herself, and she just wanted to, I think that she just wanted to sit down and see what, Judah and what he was going to do, if he's going to perhaps bring his son along with him. We don't know exactly, but it doesn't say here that she was plotting or she was intending to do this, because it was Judah who initiated. Now, when you look at the book of Proverbs, you see that there is a description of what a prostitute looks like.
Okay.
And in the book of Proverbs, the prostitute is the one enticing the man to come to her to do business.
Sure. Yeah.
This is not Tamar.
Calling to the men, but she's sitting.
She's sitting. She's wearing a veil. She's kind of going there incognito. And she wrapped herself, so she was not
immodest.
She was not showing herself. She's just sitting on the gate there because she saw that, she knew that Sila had grown up. So I do not know exactly what she wanted to do. Maybe she wanted to. Maybe she would go in to confront Judah. Maybe she'll go in to talk to Sheila. I don't know. Maybe she was going to see if Sheila had someone accompanying him.
Okay.
We don't know. The Bible doesn't say. But I think that when I used to read this passage before, I used to say, "Oh yeah, she was totally having a plan here."
Okay.
But the Bible doesn't say that she had any necessarily intentions here.
Okay. I've always read it as she did have intentions because of the veil and as a sense of like keeping her identity secret, because he didn't know it was her at the time throughout that whole ordeal. So in my mind, reading through this story, I think she did have a plan to entice him by being there.
But it was a very risky plan because she definitely did not take the first move at all.
Yeah.
It could have backfired spectacularly. If that was the plan, she was just like, she didn't know what, she froze.
Okay.
Because look at what happened here in verse 15.
Okay. Verse 15 tells us, when Judah saw her, he thought she was a harlot because she had covered her face. So yeah, covering her face seemed to be something that would indicate she might be a harlot.
Maybe.
At least to him.
Yeah, that's right. So she thought that she was a harlot, and then he turned aside to her by the road and said, what?
Please let me come into you, for he did not know that she was his daughter-in-law. So she said, what will you give me that you may come into me? So it's a business transaction.
Now it is. Now it definitely has become. If it wasn't before, now it is.
Yeah. And he said, I will send a young goat from the flock. So
okay, let's just pause here. I said, I'll send you a young goat from the flock. What is she thinking? Oh, yes, sure you will.
Right, yeah.
Yeah? Because, look, you're not a man of his word. He's not a man of his word, Judah. Because he had promised already to give her his son.
And that hasn't happened
That
yet.
hasn't happened. So she knows that Judas's word is as good as nothing, really. And I think this is a lesson to ourselves. Jesus says, let your yes be yes, your no be no. Anything that goes beyond this is from the evil one, from the devil.
Yeah.
And one of the lessons that I get from this story is, am I a person of my word, or am I like Judah? I say something, but, in my heart I'm thinking something else.
Yeah.
Look, even culturally speaking, a lot of cultures have that. For example, in Brazil, where I'm from, if you say to someone, hey, you know what? Yeah, you see someone like in the middle of the street and you're talking to them, say, yeah, let's organize something. If you say let's organize something,
it means you'll never hear from them again.
I'm in a hurry.
Yeah.
It was nice to see you, but I have to move on, and because that organized something never comes.
Yeah.
Unless it has like a date or a time. Unless you say, hey, what are you doing this Sunday?
Yeah.
Unless you be very specific, let's organize something means, hey, I have to go now. Nice to see you.
I learned this recently. I have a lot of friends from Zimbabwe, and I noticed that always finish a conversation by saying, "Oh, I'll catch up with you again soon. Like we'll do something soon." But then I wouldn't hear from them for months.
Yeah,
and I asked a friend one time, and they were like, "No, that means we're done. Like you're not going to hear from us." Like
a lot of cultures do have that. And like Japanese culture as well. Like Japanese culture, the way that they will say is this: look, oh, you should come over to my place sometime. You know, come over to my place. Meaning, hey, I have to go. I'm busy, but I'm being very polite and I'm saying, look, I'm your friend. So much so that I'm inviting you to come to my place.
But not really.
Yeah, but look, not now.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, if you're really interested in seeing me, so you text me. Like it's on you now.
Yeah.
The invitation is up there.
Okay. Wow. It's so interesting learning about different cultures. I love
different cultures. But look, this is not what we're talking about here. What are we
Sure.
talking about? It's like, hey, let's own our words.
Yes.
Unlike Judah did. We'll continue that story here.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
And we are now going to review the answer to the quiz question that both of us did not know how to answer, Lindsay.
No idea.
So, producer Shell, we demand some answers.
Demand the answers.
Demanding them. Okay. 1 Peter 1:1 says, Peter, an apostle of Jesus Christ, to those who are elect exiles.
Elect exiles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tried little children. That did not work.
No, yeah. So
I said
elect
it 12
resident
tribes.
aliens in some translations. So.
Okay, very good. That's a great one.
He's trying to talk to aliens?
Resident aliens.
Resident aliens. Okay.
That means that they are not from
I know.
that particular country.
Yes, I know.
I was going to say that means that they're not from that particular planet.
Yeah.
You're with two aliens right now, Lindsay.
Well, we
That's
are
true.
Yeah,
You are.
That is true.
But I think that as Christians, we're all aliens. Because
on
Jesus,
this-
right.
didn't
No.
Jesus say you are not of this world?
But he created us from the dirt of this world.
Yeah, but he says, look, you're not of this world. If you were of this world, the world would love their own.
Okay.
So in some ways, we actually belong to the heavenly.
We are of this earth,
planet.
but we are not of this world. Because the world indicates like people living on a planet.
Yeah, we are of this planet, but definitely not.
Okay, we're going off on a weird tangent now.
Yes.
All right, let's have another quiz question then.
Yes. Why are your eyes blinking like a reptilian eye now, Lindsay? Like, from the other
Okay.
side. Okay. Oh, forget about it. And now we're leaking out our conspiracy theory.
Let's move on. I'm concerned.
All right, producer show.
All right, quiz number 2 for this morning. What did the fearful Israelite spies who explored Canaan say they looked like compared to the giants that they saw? What did the fearful Israelites who explored Canaan say they looked like compared to the giants that they saw when they spied the land? We have wonderful, wonderful answers coming through here. So text us in on 0491064669. See if you also can get that right. Even if you don't know, take a stab in the dark and play along. It's always fun because it's a good way to learn. Trial and error is also a good way to learn, and it'll stick with you longer if you attempt to answer.
That's true.
Very good. Well, let's keep reading then the story of Judah and Tamar. We're looking. There's one thing here that is very interesting as well on the context. According to some of the customs of the time, we have documents from the Hittites. We also have preserved documents from the Assyrians, and the law of Levirate was not something exclusive to the Israelites.
Oh, really?
No.
Well, I guess it makes sense if this Canaanite woman was planning.
Yeah, it was
to go
something
along with
that the surrounding nations also practiced.
That's so interesting. I wonder where like it originated from, because God is definitely like pro levirate marriage. So I wonder how that started.
I don't know if I don't know if I would say he's pro levirate marriage, but I would say that he definitely, allowed that law to exist in that context.
Sure.
Because, for example, there were laws. And I say this because there were laws, for example, on dealing with slaves.
Yeah.
Is this to say that God was pro-slavery?
I think God works with sinful, broken human beings and societies in the best way he possibly can.
Yeah.
So he takes these things, which might not be an original, Edenic, beautiful design, and he adapts things to make it work within society.
He's regulating. He's regulating something, according to the customs of the times, and to make it a little bit more fair. Because what could have happened is exactly what's happening in the case of Tamar, where you say, "Oh, my son died, so it was the fault of my daughter-in-law, and therefore she would remain childless for the rest of her life, and she'll remain with that stigma." Because once you have been married, it was not an easy thing for you to get married again.
Yeah.
Nobody would want to marry that lady again. So the law of the levirate ensured that someone will still look after the widow.
Yeah.
It was a mechanism to protect widows. That's what it was.
It was a social security.
But one of the things that we see very explicitly, that this is not in the law of God, in the law of Moses, but it is in the law of the Hittites and it is in the law of the Assyrians, is that if there are no brothers left, then the father was supposed to...
Or the uncle beyond that, I believe.
Yeah, it says the father specifically needs to be the person to give a child to the to the widowed daughter-in-law.
Yep. Okay, so this is very much an expected part of the custom.
As far as she's concerned, like she also being a Canaanite herself, she say, "Look, I'm very much within my rights here."
Absolutely.
But before we go to see what happens between them, because we're going to talk about the pledge that Judah gave to Tamar, I just want to say this: we have to be I think the story tells us to be careful with our friendships, particularly for younger people, but I think adults as well. Yeah. And Hira was not, a good friend.
No.
I mean, he might have been the nice guy. He might have even been loyal to Judah, but he was, I think, single-handedly responsible for creating one of the most embarrassing chapters in Judah's history. Actually, if Hira was a true friend of Judah, because he was the friend, during party times and festivities, but he was a true friend, he would say, "Hey, by the way, you promised to that girl that you were going to send your son, your youngest son. Your youngest son is well within age now, and you still haven't done it. Like, you have to fulfill your word.
What are you doing, man? Get on with it."
I mean, why are you treating her like that? No, he's not saying anything. He was not saying anything to disavow or anything that would be disagreeable to Judah. He's only saying the things that Judah wants to hear. And you'll see that this is the character of Hira. Hira is going to come up one more time in that story. Okay. And you'll see that there's a lot of proverbs against the types of Hira. He says that more faithful are the wounds of an enemy than the kisses. More faithful are the wounds of a friend than the kiss of an enemy.
Yeah.
And Hira was the one who was always kissing, who was always never challenging, never saying anything. He was just going along and,
getting him into trouble.
He got Judah into trouble.
Yeah.
In the first place, he got Judah by moving to Canaan. He got Judah into trouble in the second place by taking him up to the festivities and probably instigating him to say, "Hey, look at that girl over there.
Yeah.
You should go
that's
totally
the daughter
go
of Shua over there. Go say hi."
That's right. So whenever Hira is in that story, you have trouble. And Hira is mentioned because I believe Bible wanted to say, hey, maybe if Hira wasn't there, Judah wouldn't be going up.
Yeah. So important, to pick good friends.
Yeah.
That you can see good character in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, you become more like your friends than you expect.
Yeah.
So look at your friends and say, hey, do I want to become like my friend? And I think this is actually, it's a law that applies across the board. For example, here, and there are research about it already. It's not just the Bible saying for 6,000 years. If that was not enough, there's actually scientific evidence about it. Which saying that, for example, if you want to, do more physical exercise, be more physically active, well, spend time with your friends that are physically active. And guess what? That's going to rub it in.
100%.
If you want to learn how to play an instrument, for example, hang out with friends that play instruments. And, you're going to do it. I want to become closer to Jesus, closer to God. Make sure that you get friends that also are pursuing God.
Yeah.
This is why the church is such a beautiful model that God has given, because it basically says, hey, I'm actually, not only I want you to come closer to me, but every week you're going to hang out with your friends that also want to get closer to me, so you all can encourage one another into good works.
Yeah.
That's one of the beauties
Do not neglect the gathering of yourselves together, as is the habit of some.
Yeah, that's right. So because God knew the influence of good people and as well the influence of not so good friends in your life. And if you're not so good friends are into partying and so on, guess what? You ended up going to be doing that as well.
Exactly. Yeah. We succumb to peer pressure of any type. And so you want to be peer pressured into good things, not bad things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
Let's move on here because there is a negotiation going on here, and Tamar, being very smart, she knew already that hey, she could not trust or bank on Judas's word alone, but at the same time, she was not there for the sheep. She was not there for the payment. And let's see what she asked, because she asked for the cleverest things that she could ask to make her click, to make her case.
What verse are we in?
Okay, we are in verse 18.
Verse 18. What will you give me as a pledge till you send it? Then he said, what pledge shall I give you? So she said, your signet and cord and your staff that is in your hand. Then he gave them to her and went into her, and she conceived by him.
Okay, let's pause here. What is the signet or the seal and the cord? What is that about?
It's his identity. It's his ID documents.
Yeah. It's like his ID. Give me your ID. Give me your driver's license.
Yeah, basically.
The signet was like a cylinder. It's a small cylinder made of clay, and it had a hole on the top, and they looped a cord around it. So usually people wore these things around their necks.
Yeah.
It is very interesting here because it's like the credit card of the time as well.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, when we had what we call Apple Pay and whatnot, you know, you touch your cell phone. So for today and age is the same thing of she said, okay, give me your cell phone. Leave your cell phone with me as a pledge, or leave me your credit card. High value with his identity, because so for you to transact businesses, sometimes you're going to buy something and you don't necessarily have the currency that they need. So you actually pass on your cylinder.
Yep.
And you know the person will come back and say, hey, look, you're owing me some money, and I have here your signet here, which is kind of your unique signature.
Yeah.
So they knew that it belonged to Judah, probably had his name on it, and some other indicator marks to avoid fraud.
Yep.
They usually, these signets, the way that they work, they usually had a copy of it at the temple, or if they're in Canaan, at the pagan temple. Because the temples they served not only to worship their gods, but also to keep certain records.
Interesting.
Yes, one of the records were the signets to make sure that there's no duplicate. So, because someone could come up to Judah and say, hey, this is your signet. And say, no, it's not mine. You could go to the priest, and the priest say, hey, let me check here, because, you know, this man gave me this signet. Whose signet is this one here? It was actually very sophisticated.
I had no idea about that part.
It's so this idea of, you know, buy now, pay later, it's not something that we millennials invented.
No.
It has been actually, it exists for millennia, for me.
Yeah, well, this is like 3,500 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
there you go.
And the other thing is that his cord, like he was a billionaire. From, you know, being the son, you know, the descendants of Abraham. He was like the son of a really wealthy cattle person. All of the you know, I actually want people to really understand this. When you're reading the Old Testament, when you're seeing the story of the sons of Israel, we're talking about the mafios millionaire kids here.
The who's?
The mafios.
What's mafia?
Like
mafia? Oh, mafia.
Yeah, I mean, because these guys were like, they would slaughter entire villages with their own hands. They were not.
Yeah.
Joseph was the outlier in that sense. He was the good kid.
He was a good kid. And Benjamin, who was
the middle of
so
the gangsters. They were like these millionaire gangsters, pretty much.
Millionaire gangsters. Wow. And God picked some interesting people.
Interesting people. And God is trying to work with them, with these kids.
Okay, let's take these mafia and reform them somehow at some point.
Yeah, yeah. That's why this sort of redemption is so big.
Yeah.
Because the transformation of character, particularly of Judah, is going to be massive.
Yeah.
And also, she says, give me your staff. Now, your staff is not any kind of staff.
Okay.
Again, staffs were symbols of status back in the days. Actually, we have some archaeological evidence of one of the pharaohs of Egypt getting as spoils from a war this staffs of certain conquered people.
Wow.
And these staffs, for example, they were all carved at the top. They had, like, in this particular case, they had human skulls carved on that staff. So when you're walking around your staff, it's always almost also
It's like bling.
It's your bling.
Yeah.
Everybody knows. No, you go to a place like, oh, let me see your stuff. Oh, this is exquisite. This is unique. This is a work of art.
Yeah.
So everybody would know from a first glance
that
when they saw that stuff, when they saw, and this is the thing, if she just had this stuff, they would think maybe she stole it, maybe he forgot somewhere. But then the stuff and the signet ring, both of them together, like, how did this lady get that?
You can't steal a cord off of someone's neck.
It was unequivocal, or even if she just had the signet cylinder, maybe he had a second one, a spare one. So, I don't know, I don't recognize this one. But this plus the stuff, together, other people could have the same stuff. Maybe they bought from the same artisan. It's two-factor authentication.
Oh my God.
There you go. Who thought that two-factor authentication was a new thing? It's like 5,000 years old.
Oh, man.
Two-factor authentication. Love it. That's exactly what it is. The staff and the signet. So there's no question about it.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So she's got two-factor authentication. Yeah. She's got the signet. She's got the staff.
And he went on into her and she became pregnant.
Yeah. And then away they go, off in separate paths. He's like, I'm never going to see her again.
We're going to continue that story tomorrow. We're going to continue that story tomorrow.
Oh, man.
But, so we're going to leave this in this cliffhanger because, again, Hira is going to play another part here in that story.
We have to.
But I think that both the important things for us is, look, choose our friends carefully. Do not be unequally yoked with your friends because your friends have a greater influence in your life than you. And I think that the second big lesson here is to, hey, let's honor our words. We don't need to give bonds. We don't, this is not supposed to be. Just let our yes be yes, no say no.
You're listening to the Breakfast Show podcast on Faith FM. Positively different.
And if you've been enjoying listening and reading through the book of Genesis with us, have you noticed how much more value we get out of the story when we have just someone to point out like some of the customs and the uses of the time?
Oh, man. It's one of my favorite things.
Me too. It's one of my favorite things. But sometimes Bible commentaries by themselves can be a little bit boring, a little bit daunting, a little bit too technical for some people. I personally don't mind. I have a very analytical brain. My brain kind of likes that kind of information, but not everybody. However, I would like to recommend this resource, which is the perfect blend between getting to know the background, but also be told a story and increase your knowledge of the Bible. And this book is called Patriarchs and Prophets. It is a very unique book because it's not only commenting and explaining almost verse by verse what's going on in the history. It's actually narrating the history for you and also giving practical spiritual applications of the things that you're learning. It is the best way, the best companion to the Bible to understand what's going on in the history. Now, you can go and buy this book. There's plenty of stores online that will buy them. But if you're listening to Faith FM, we have an exclusive deal for you, which is if you text us with the word #beginning to 0491 064 669, we can send you an electronic version of that book, an ebook. And not only ebook, you can also download the MP3 audio files that are professionally narrated by human beings, not by AI, so the good old human voice. So you can listen to that book wherever you are, wherever you go, and you can grow, you can become closer to God, you can learn more about the Bible, and you can be a light unto others. So if this is you, text us here, #beginnings to 0491 064 669. Producer Shell, can we please have an answer to your previous quiz questions? You were asking what kind of, what were the Israelites comparing themselves, how they were comparing themselves to the Canaanites?
Well, the Canaanites were giants, so they referred to themselves as grasshoppers in comparison.
That's so cute.
Yeah.
But
they were feeling very insecure about their possibilities of conquering, and they're like, we're just grasshoppers.
They can step on us and crush us like a bug.
That's right.
That's right. And I think that they didn't have cockroaches at the time. Otherwise, they said, look, we're like cockroaches.
I don't think they would refer to themselves as cockroaches.
looks unclean. Grasshoppers, at least you can munch on because they're
Yes.
clean.
They're cute.
And they're cute.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I think I would rather.
You usually refer to somebody else as a cockroach, not
Yeah.
yourself.
No, there's something. We're like grasshoppers.
Just little and we go boing.
But they should have said, "Look, don't you know what grasshoppers can do when they are together?"
That's right.
Decimate.
And I love
whole crop.
Yeah, and I love how Caleb and Joshua came out and said, "Hey, yeah, we are like grasshoppers, but look, God has promised. Look, God has delivered us from even stronger enemies before. What makes you think that He cannot deliver us again?"
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. But no, but that by
Good
that
faith.
time the damage has been already done.
Yeah.
Thanks for being a part of the Faith FM family. Join our community on Facebook or get in touch at 1-800-FAITH-FM.